I haven't seen anything like it in my whole time here. Like, usually wings fluctuate. Obviously, they get more expensive during football season.
Yeah.
And then after the Super Bowl, usually prices go down. This past year, they didn't go down.
Right.
In fact, they went up because of the bird flu.
Yeah, right.
And we were paying like $140, $130 case for wings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which is just insane. I mean, we didn't raise our prices. We've never raised our prices on our wings.
Wow.
But, it hurts us.
I know.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was at Rich at Eden did this dinner last night, and
oh, how was that?
That was a lot of fun.
I saw it, and I couldn't make it because it was my niece's birthday. But man, nice. I was hoping to see the menu.
Yeah, I forget. I'll post the pictures of each course.
Oh, cool.
'Cause I was hanging out with all of them next to the kitchen, just taking pictures all night and drinking too much. I didn't think I had that many Manhattans, but this morning when I woke up, I was like, I think I had too many.
One too many.
Too many Manhattans last night. But it was
a sign of a good night.
Yes, it was. And I forget the person's name who was making the drinks. I don't know if she works there or if she was from somewhere else. I think she works there. The Manhattan was incredible last night. But it was so amazing to see. It was 6 chefs. It was Chance. It was Jeff he's at Nobody's right now, but they're going to open Touche here in a little bit with Bob. Kaylee, the little cake artist from Sugar Blossom, Rich, and then Eva from Eva's. So, and then who else?
I love her.
And Noah Fiacchi was the 6th. Then Noah had his guy with him. Who else? And then Derek was there helping out, obviously. Rich was there, but the cool thing was it was pitched as like 12 courses, 2 chefs, or 6 chefs each takes 2 courses. Bob from Nobody's did a wine pairing with each course.
Very nice.
But what wound up happening is all of the chefs would just jump in on every course and help plate or do whatever.
Yeah, that's the way we. They used to do the Great Chefs Dinner.
Okay.
For the American Culinary Federation.
Oh, okay.
They would put on a Great Chef's Dinner every year, and there would be like a head chef, and all the participating chefs would bring their crews, and
that's cool.
Everybody take a course, and everybody helps plating, and it was some of the funnest times I've ever had in the kitchens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool. Like last night, I'm thinking to myself, man. Eden is so unique with being wood-fired, and
everything I've had out of there is phenomenal.
Yeah, so good. Yeah. We just went for dinner for the first time in like a year last week, and it was good. Wow. It was very good. Yeah. But in my head, I'm thinking like these chefs, like anybody walking into a kitchen like that is going to struggle to like get used to it and get acclimated to like how it works.
Especially if you're not cooking over wood all the time. And,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But Rich was like, no, nobody, like, there was no, all right, I'm here, everybody else out. It was literally everyone jumped in on every single course and helped out.
That's the way it is. That's the way it should be, right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, that's when you get a group of really great chefs who care and know how to work with each other and want to work with each other and collaborate. Yeah. Like, really magical things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool to see. And I haven't seen that in Syracuse since before COVID.
Yeah.
A dinner like that. I think Mark from Farm to Fork 101 did 1 or 2 like immediately following COVID. But it's funny, I was on the phone with him like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago talking about, man, Syracuse needs that to come back. You should think about doing these dinners again.
Yeah, I went to one he did at like when it was still a mono.
Okay, yeah.
And it was phenomenal. And we had a great time, and I was looking forward to more. And then he kind of stopped doing it and focused on other things. But I see him every once in a while at the market. He uses the little test kitchen there.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So I was on the phone with him, and then literally like a week later, Rich called me and was like, "What if we did this dinner?" I was like, "That sounds amazing. Do it. Please do it." So it was cool. They sold out, but
how many people was it?
It was like 45.
That's a great number.
Yeah. Restaurant was sold out. all the proceeds, all the profits went to this new charity that Chetty Thompson has started to benefit the South Side. I forget the particulars of it.
Oh, cool.
But, it was $200 a ticket, which does seem high, but it's 12 courses and a wine pairing with each course, which is more than reasonable.
Plus the experience alone, is often worth it.
Yeah, for sure. So it was just really nice to like see that exist in Syracuse still. Really cool to see that.
Like Syracuse has it, like we can pull off stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's getting interest and kind of like the support behind it sometimes where people fall short.
For sure. Yeah. I think the support is there. I don't think it's I don't think it's like a massive part of the population is excited about, oh shit, I can pay $200 and go have this amazing food from like it's definitely a small group, and Eden has that group's attention.
Yeah, it definitely has that following.
Yeah. So it worked out very well, but
That's
hope
awesome.
I'm going to beg Rich, and I don't think I'll have to beg too hard to get him to like do those a little bit more regularly. Maybe like a smaller version of it just to like make it easier to pump out.
Yeah. And, I really loved that it was on a Sunday because usually I can make things on Sundays.
Right, yeah.
It's hard when you're working in restaurants and everybody's doing all these cool stuff, but you have to work.
Right.
So it's nice when things land on your day off.
Yeah, for sure. It would be fun to do that with like feature like some of the, more prominent Asian restaurants in Syracuse.
Yeah.
And do that, like make that the whole theme. That'd be fun.
That would be super fun.
Yeah. I don't know any of them besides you and Mama Highs and Cake Bar.
Well, even if the three of us did something, and we're all friends anyways, and it would totally be a fun day. And we had talked about it. Now, who owns Mama High, had brought the idea of what if we did like a Sunday dim sum kind of thing.
That'd be cool.
And I just don't have enough specific dim sum experience.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be a great idea.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd probably be easy to sell out too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah, that's something, just thinking through the food scene, like you said, it's still here. People still are interested in that kind of stuff. The chefs, I think, are really interested in it.
For sure.
So, yeah. And we're getting some line. We still have Abioco. We've got Eden. Touche is going to open up soon.
Where is that going?
That's where that French place was. Then they moved, the one right next to Kitty Hoynes.
Oh, right. La Mélange.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So they're going into that space.
Oh, very cool.
I had them on the podcast, the last episode. It was like a few weeks ago, but they're doing whole animal butchery in-house.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, I know. And they're talking about how because they're doing that, they're going to have like focus on like, listen, we've got this many of this cut. And if you don't want that, if we're sold out, you can have,
Yeah.
Are
they planning on using like everything too?
Yeah.
I love that.
So definitely education and that with customers, but also they were just talking about how like their price per pound is going to be so much cheaper if they're buying the whole animal.
Right.
That they're going to try and essentially have like the lowest price like steak frites in town while still making incredible food.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be really cool.
Well, it'll do well, especially in Armory Square and the lower the price point will definitely draw people in.
For sure. Yeah. I haven't yet, but like we were talking about just before we started, like those Italian American, and Gotti's is still around, even though it's takeout only. But, hell, I remember going to Aunt Josie's back in the day on the north side when I was, in high school. But the Dominic's, all those places are gone. I mean, we still have a couple. There's still Santangelo's and Tussone's.
Right.
And I don't know if it's a bad thing that they're gone. I'm not saying that like we need to bring them back.
But I just remember in high school, like when, we went to the prom and stuff, like everybody went to Critella's or Joey's or, all these Italian American restaurants, like around the east side and stuff like that. And it's kind of sad to see them all gone.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not a huge fan of Italian food, but I know that like the whole mom and pop scene definitely like speaks volumes for like, how Syracuse grew up and the food that people are used to.
Yeah.
I wish that they would just explore a little more. You know, I feel like some people are just stuck in that era.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's other delicious things out there if you just try it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, so I want to, the last time you were on the podcast was right before you opened in the market.
Yeah.
So that was the height of COVID. But, so I do want to talk to you about like, what's it been like? But I'm curious, what are the places that you eat out? Like, where do you eat on your days off?
Oh, you know, I try to hit up new places. It gets really hard because, like I said, so many places are closed on Sundays.
For sure.
You know, I get the one day off. I go to a lot of Asian restaurants just because that's like my comfort food.
Yeah. Do you have favorites there?
I do. I mean, what's not a favorite? You know, I love Yang Di Chun. I love what's the Vietnamese place on the north side?
I believe I'm pronouncing well. Oh, there is New Century.
Yes.
But, okay. Yeah.
New Century.
Yeah.
And then
there's the banh mi place, which I pronounce Kai Dun, but I'm pretty sure Nyauk told me that it's pronounced. It's
like Ki Yuing or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It has like none of the letters that are actually used in the word.
Yeah.
But I tried the new K-pot. I loved that.
Yeah, is that good?
Yeah, you know, I really just because of my health issues and my diet, I stay away from the barbecue stuff, but the hot pot stuff.
Good.
Man, what a deal. Like all kinds of seafood and meats and proteins and, you know, you can get like a healthy broth and it's really, it's so worth it.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And but the thing is, you have to know a little bit about cooking. Okay. I've had a bunch of friends who brought friends who don't know how to cook and they did not have so much fun. They're like, why am I paying to cook my own food? I'm like, you get to cook your own food.
There's something very fun about it for sure.
Yeah.
I've only done Korean barbecue once and it was in Queens years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a legit, you know, Korean barbecue place. And we went with friends. And it was one of the better meal experiences I've ever had before, for sure.
Yeah, Korean barbecue is definitely delicious. It's just a lot of beef.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lot of beef and a lot of salt and sugar and stuff I'm supposed to avoid. So once in a while, but the hot pot is amazing.
Yeah.
Like just vegetables and things that like as an Asian, I know are a little bit like pricey, but they just have it out there like all you can eat. So I'm like, you know, I'm stealing the tofu rolls and like the things that cost more. And it's super fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's this Chinese restaurant on East Fayette, Old Turong Cafe, I think. It's like a couple doors.
Oh, Korean, yeah. Well, Turong House?
No, so there's the Korean place, but then there's the Chinese place.
Oh, Chengdu?
Yes, that's it. Thank
you.
Yeah. That place, I've been in there like a handful of times now. I'm always the only white person in the place.
Gotta love it.
Right. I'm pretty sure that like there's the one kid is the only one that like really speaks English enough to wait on me. And I'm pretty sure that I get charged. Are there young kids
doing homework in the corner too? Because that's a telltale sign of a legit,
I know,
great Asian place.
I haven't seen them, but I've also only go for lunch.
Gotcha.
So, but and I'm pretty sure either it's wildly expensive or they just charge me more because I'm the only white guy in there. But they have this. I mean, the few things I've had there have been incredible, but they have this pork intestine dish that's so freaking good. Absolutely. Yeah. I went there once, I saw it on the menu, and I was like, oh man, I bet that's got to be good. It's got to be, at the very least, it's interesting. So the next time I went, I ordered it, and it was so freaking delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good.
People get turned off by things like that, and you just got to like step out of your comfort zone and try something once in a while.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a place, I forget what it's called now. There's a place behind Popeyes on the Boulevard.
Is that the sushi place? Or do they do sushi?
I don't know if they do sushi, but it's last I knew it was like Chinese.
Okay.
But like true Chinese food, and like I'm not sure if they really speak English. I only had takeout from my friend who ordered from there.
Gotcha.
But it was some of the best intestine I've ever had.
Really?
Oh, it was so tender and just melt in your mouth, and really delicious flavors and spicy and just really delicious.
Okay, I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's where the old the Asian supermarket was back there.
Okay, yeah. There was a place back in like that kind of weird Triangle Plaza area that Paul Valenti tried to take me to once for lunch because he said it was the best sushi in Syracuse, but they were closed when we went there.
Oh, so, was it AT Sushi or something like that?
Maybe, yeah.
I think they've reopened.
Okay.
Maybe under different owners, because for a while my dad would buy sushi from there, and then I think they sold it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, red chili is always a good one. You know?
Yeah.
Irwan, I always forget to go to Irwan.
Yeah, you know, they're great.
Yeah.
They were one of the first in Syracuse, and I used to go there all the time when before I really used to cook a lot of Thai food, and you know, when I just wanted to change a pace and didn't feel like making something, and I always kind of forget that they're there too. Yeah. Because again, I don't think they're open on Sundays.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, and they're a great family. We grew up. They used to have an Asian grocery store.
Oh, okay.
And so we grew up going there, and then they opened up the restaurant.
Okay.
And they kind of had the store in the back, and now I think it's just the restaurant. But yeah, they're a great family.
Yeah, yeah, that was always good food. Yeah, so there's a lot of places in Syracuse that like I always start conversations off with like, man, Syracuse food scene sucks, and then I proceed to have the conversation with the person about all these great places.
Yes,
in
right. They're out there,
I know,
and you know there are plenty of them out there. You just kind of got to look for them and figure out what you like, you know, just because, you know, it's funny. I get sucked into the Where Syracuse Eats page on Facebook.
Yeah, I've had to get off
and
of it.
It's just so funny to me sometimes to read those conversations and watch people bicker back and forth about what's good and what's not and everything. And it's just kind of entertaining.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I get like a good nugget of information from someone there, or you know, from a post, and I'm not scared to go out and try something new and figure out for myself if I like it. I think people just need to explore a little bit more.
Yeah,
I know right now it's hard. Everything is expensive. Yeah. So it's hard to part with, you know,
for sure,
$20-$40 just to find out you don't like something.
Yeah,
but I did it the other day. I ordered something from a new Indian place that I had not heard about yet. And it wasn't great. I didn't love it. But now I know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, it is tough to stay on top of on like the new stuff that's out there.
Yeah.
I like 3 or 4 months ago got rid of like personal social media except for unless it's like a direct family member or a client, and just got rid of everything, and then stopped looking at Where Syracuse Eats, deleted the Facebook app off my phone, all that kind of stuff, because I was
good for
like,
you.
Just it's like such a negative suck, and I feel better as a result of it. I gotta say, I feel pretty good. At first, like I had a buddy.
Did you go through withdrawal?
Oddly, no. I mean, I still have everything, Instagram and TikTok for Eat Local.
Yeah.
And I'm spending so much time focused on that and responding to messages and finding restaurants that really still I'm on social like 6 hours a day.
Sure.
But like the day that I removed everybody, like that next morning, and I didn't do like, you know, there's always like your friend who on Facebook who's like, I'm deleting Facebook just when, you know, it's like you're drawing attention to the fact. I didn't do that. But I had a buddy text me like the next morning. He's like, dude, what the fuck is going on? You deleted me and D from Facebook. I thought we were friends. And I was like, listen, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, but I was just about to send you a business connection. Somebody needs help with social media. Now I don't know how to. It's like, well, you're texting me. Just do it that way, So there's definitely times where like I found myself, oh man, it would really help if I could post on Facebook, hey, I need 4 people for a photo shoot right now. But, for the most part, it hasn't really, aside from the initial thing, I feel better.
Yeah.
I'm not as up to date on what's happening in Red. Like someone had to tell me that Loaded closed recently. Like I didn't see it like I typically would have.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So there's that stuff. But, for the most part, it just feels better.
I hear you. I mean, I have a number of friends who have done this kind of the same thing. Do they just stay away from it? And, it doesn't, I don't really buy too much into the negativity. So I feel like I can kind of compartmentalize it a little bit. But, I feel like I get more useful information than not. So. Yeah.
I'm not that strong, Sarah. I can't. It bothers me when I see it. I was having a good morning. I still am having a good morning, but I was having a good morning. I get in my car to pull up like notifications, and somebody on Instagram had left some stupid comment on one of my posts. And, I'm sitting there like immediately responding like, whatever, you're a piece of shit. No one cares. For some stranger somewhere in New York, I have no idea who this person is, but
it just
pisses me off.
Trolls.
Yeah, exactly. But so I'm not that strong. It does affect me. I'll never forget years ago. I did this stupid video during a snowstorm. I had a donut from Tops, went out into the street, had it in my hand, crushed it, and threw it on the ground. And the caption was like, when somebody brings you a donut that's not from Glazed and Confused, right? Just a dumb video. The comments blew up with people, I can't believe you wasted food. There's starving children in Africa.
Oh, good Lord.
All of that stuff. And I sat on the couch with my wife. We were supposed to be watching a movie together, and I'm just responding to comments and telling her, guess what this person said? Guess what that person said? So what's the point? I'm not as strong when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I can't blame you. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
It's just, like I said, I've had a lot of like health issues come up, and it has definitely taught me how to kind of filter out what matters and what doesn't.
Yeah.
And when I guess like more serious things happen, it shifts your perspective a little bit.
For sure.
I just try to keep happy-go-lucky.
That's good.
And take what I want from it and leave the junk for the rest and everything. But the Syracuse food scene I feel like is definitely like ever evolving, and there's so many new places I haven't even tried yet.
Yeah.
Like I still haven't been to Noble Cellars.
Same here.
I'm a little bit torn. It's like I kind of want to go and see what's up, but again, I don't necessarily want to spend like $200 on just one dinner.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah. I think my point on stuff like that is if I know it's incredible, like St. Urban.
Oh, forget it. I would spend my entire paycheck there if I could.
Exactly. Right. And that it was like my Rebecca and I would go once a year and spend $800.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. It's like you're never going to get that experience in Syracuse
ever.
Right. So that was like, okay, no issue, no problem.
Right.
Like I gotta be like, guess what I just spent on dinner? But if I don't know it's that, if I don't know it's gonna be that, I don't want to go spend a ton of money.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna spend it on dinner, I would want to do what you did, like with the eat-in dinner with the courses and guest chefs and all that. Like I'm all about that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super jealous.
Like I said, he's going to do more. Hopefully. So what's it been like? I mean, we're 4 years in, 4 years in at the market.
Yeah, gosh. So, after the 3-year lease was up, we signed another 3-year lease.
Okay.
We're going to stick it out and see how it goes. And it's been great. We are still trying to grow our business and just like anywhere in Syracuse, we're still struggling to like bring people in and get people downtown and just get people through the doors.
For sure.
There's still, 4 years in and people still have not built, Salt City Market, I've heard of that. I haven't been down there yet. I'm like, come on down. Yeah. It's not scary. Downtown's not scary. Yeah. Parts of it might be scary, but, it just take a chance.
Yeah, for sure. So same thing as just about any restaurant, really, with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, so there's a few of you that have stuck around then. I'm assuming that the ones that are still there re-signed. So you, Mama High.
Yeah.
Cake Bar,
Baghdad. Solutions, Irma's.
Yeah.
And Habiba's, even though they took over for Pie's the Limit.
Yeah, right.
So they weren't there at the very beginning, but they're sticking around too. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then, so who went into the She Fancy spot that was there for just a little bit?
So, so She Fancy left, and now I think Motherload is there.
Okay.
I think they are there like part-time, like maybe 3 or 4 days a week.
Gotcha.
I have not caught them yet.
Okay.
I'm mostly working nights, and so I haven't gone over there yet to talk to them, but they seem to be doing well. Okay. My friend brought me one of their lemonades the other day. It was delicious.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it like for you? I mean, aside from just like trying to get people in the door, what's it been like? When you re-signed the lease, I'd imagine you've been happy with being there in the market.
I love being there.
Yeah.
It's the perfect size for me right now.
Yeah.
Like I said before, I come from a private club, country club background, big kitchens, big staff, lots of people, and this is just nice. It's like a tiny little kitchen. I have 6 burners and I can keep all of it pristinely clean. And, I have a great staff, which of course has been another challenge to find and keep staff in this climate. It's not easy.
For sure.
But we definitely have a great crew, and we love doing what we do.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the typical reception you get from people? Is it like people who are familiar with your food, with you, with Ty, with?
It's funny. When I first started, I kind of had this mindset of, this is what I want to cook. This is what I want to introduce to Syracuse. And I'm gonna show them how to embrace this. And I was sticking to kind of like Thai street food, and our signature dish is a spicy basil chicken. It's like ground chicken that we stir fry and comes with rice and a sunny side egg. It's just like how you would get it in Thailand. It's one of the most popular dishes in Thailand. I've said this before. It's the first thing I eat when I get off the plane. And it sold really well, and people were embracing it. But not 5 times a day, people would come up to me and ask, do you have pad thai on your menu? And I was so against it. For 4 years, I was against it. And I was just like, I want to get people off the kick of pad thai. There's more to Thai food than pad thai. And I finally I gave in, because people were asking for it. And I'm like, at this point, I'm stupid not to sell it, So what I did was I talked with my dad, and so my mom has since passed away like a couple years ago, but she helped me start Firecracker from, the very beginning. She taught me how to cook. She taught me a ton of stuff. And I talked to my dad to figure out like what her recipe was for pad thai. And so I tweaked it and tested it and made it as authentic as I could. I didn't skimp on ingredients. I got every single authentic ingredient that she used.
Wow.
And, I put right on there, no modifications, because if it's going to be my mom's pad thai, I'm not going to change it for anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And I hope people can appreciate that and understand it.
That's cool.
But now we have pad thai on the menu.
That's awesome.
And, it's selling. It doesn't, I feel like our other dishes still outsell it.
Okay.
But at least when people come up to me and ask for it, I can be like, yeah, I have it. And I have my mom's authentic version of it.
That's cool.
Yeah, though, I mean, the whole reason I was so against it was because, number one, there's like 15 ingredients to it. People don't realize it, but, and there's specialty ingredients. Like, there's no scallions in pad thai. You're actually supposed to use garlic chives. You're supposed to use like tofu and like dried radish and these dried shrimp that are super expensive. And a lot of places just skimp on those ingredients and just mix, a reddish kind of sauce that has peanuts and sugar, and they'll throw like ketchup in it to make it red, or they'll throw, whatever, ingredient substitution to make it seem like it's pad thai, and it's not. So I was like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. And hopefully people embrace it. And I tell people straight up, I'm like, this is not like a version that you've ever had before, because a lot of places will doctor it and whatnot. So you might not like it.
Yeah.
But this is the authentic version.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's definitely something to that about, first of all, just having like, the attraction to it being authentic, or, being told that this is the authentic version of it.
Yeah.
And then also, the connection of this is my mom's recipe,
Right.
And, I was just at this restaurant out in Irondequoit, and I feel bad because I didn't do a good job really talking more about it, but it was this place called Murph's something bar, Irondequoit pub or something like that. It's in a shopping center, like a little strip plaza, a sports bar with a heavy music scene. And the son who runs the place reached out to me. He was like, you got to come out and check us out. And it just worked out. It was like they're in the Bay, so it worked out. It was on my AAA series. So it was like, I need a place.
Oh, cool.
I'll stop in there. And talking to him, his dad had passed away, I think 3 years ago. And their last name is Murphy, and so it was named Murph. So anyways, it was cool. He had like this whole tribute to his dad on one of the walls, pictures of his dad up there singing with bands throughout the years.
Oh, very cool.
And it's something like, whatever it was. And so I felt bad. I should have like kind of dove more into that when I was talking to him in the video, but it was just really cool to see like this guy is behind the bar with his mom, and he's still just trying to keep the place going, in his dad's memory.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's those connections that people have in the restaurants that they own, and whether it's something like that where it's like named after them and there's this tribute, or whether it's like your mom's, just something simple like your mom's pad thai recipe.
Yeah.
That you're still keeping alive.
Yeah, there's so much of her in Firecracker. Like our spring roll sauce. I've told this story before, but growing up, she didn't have the right ingredients to make us the traditional spring roll sauce, and so she kind of concocted this sauce that was like peanutty and sweet and sour and just kind of yummy. And I grew up thinking this was egg roll sauce, traditional egg roll sauce. And when I grew up and went to other Thai restaurants, I didn't understand why they didn't have my mom's egg roll sauce. And I was like, how can this be? And I went back to my mom and I said, how come nobody else has this sauce? She's like, 'cause I made it up. we didn't have, this and that. And so I made it up.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if I ever have a place, it's going on the menu. And sure enough, it's on the menu. And people come all the time and they're like, can I have more of that sauce?
That's awesome.
And it's just, it's got mom's touch, and I couldn't have invented a sauce like that, but she did. And it's one of our signature things. Our people come for our spring rolls. They'll buy 3 or 4 just to eat as a meal. And I love it.
What was her name?
Her name was Sally.
Sally.
Yeah. Her real name was Siri One, but she went by Sally. And she passed 3 years ago. Yeah, she passed from lung cancer, but never smoked a day in her life. She was a nurse her entire career.
Wow.
At Krause. And so.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she taught me, both my parents cooked. They both taught me everything I know about Thai food, along with Max from Lemongrass and my aunt and uncle who owned Bangkok. But she was definitely the number one influence on my career.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in Syracuse?
Born and raised.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Nowhere else?
Nope.
Why did I think you were in Seattle for a little bit? Am I making that up?
I visited Seattle.
Okay. Yeah.
My best friend moved to Seattle, and so I actually went last year during Labor Day weekend.
Oh, cool.
And hung out with her for like a week or so.
Okay. Yeah.
Saw Dave Matthews at the Gorge.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was one of my bucket list things. And I've liked them ever since college. And, I don't get to go to as many shows as I used to. But
for sure. Yeah. That's cool. But
the Gorge, man, what a venue.
I know that venue and Dave Matthews, I'm sure, was a killer combo.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. Once in a lifetime kind of thing. I had to do it.
Yeah. I can't take Dave Matthews as much as I've gotten older.
I don't listen to the new stuff as much, and like some of the, I will admit, some of the younger fans at the shows are super annoying.
Oh, really?
But it takes me back to my college days and like being young and hanging out. And,
awesome.
But
I've got these. I've only done a couple of them so far, but I'm trying to record podcasts, or not podcasts, but like audio messages that I'll leave my son one day when he's like an adult.
How cool!
And so when we found out my wife was pregnant, I started a journal of just like, hey, here's the date, here's what's happening today, sort of a thing. And then
fun.
The podcast I've been doing, like, I'll connect my computer and I'll be like, all right, this is my favorite band, and we're going to go through their albums. And then
that's awesome.
In between songs, tell a story or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I've started recording those, but this last weekend, Rebecca was somewhere, or he was sick, so I stayed home. And so I was like, all right, we're going to, and he's not even 2 yet, but, he's talking more, he's comprehending more. For some reason, right now, he's obsessed with "Bye Bye Bye" from NSYNC. We have the Alexa, and he'll be like "Bye Bye," and so we have to play that song. But
that's hysterical.
So we were listening to music in the living room, and I was like, "All right, this is Jack Johnson," and I started playing, and like the first song, like 40 seconds into it, he looks at me, he's like, "No." So not all that stuff. That's
hysterical.
Yeah. I had one of my toughest things I had to do. Maybe this sounds super vain and superficial, but I was thinking up to the fair and like doing all the food videos. I was trying to think of like, all right, every other influencer in town is going to be covering the fair.
Yeah.
And Syracuse.com. So what can I do to like make it my own and unique, but also do something bigger than any of them are going to do.
Right.
And so I started reaching out to the governor's office like 2 months before the fair. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, listen, the governor's going to be at the fair one day. Would she come and do a video with me? Like, hey, what's your favorite thing to eat at the fair? Just something quick and easy.
Yeah.
So I talked to a few different people. It didn't really seem like it was going to happen. And then the afternoon before she was going to be at the fair, I get a call from somebody in her office. Hey, so I've heard through the grapevine you're trying to get the governor to be on camera or do an interview. She's going to be at Basilio's getting a sausage sandwich at noon tomorrow. If you're there, you might be able to ask her some questions for an interview. And so I was like, well, it's not an interview. It'll take 2 minutes. It's literally just Governor Kathy Hochul, what's your favorite thing to eat at the fair? Sausage, peppers, and onions. Awesome. We take a bite. She says what she likes about it. That's it. And she's like, the aide said, all right, let me call you back. She calls me back, and she's like, okay, if you're there, my colleague John's going to be on site. Here's his number. Text him. If you're there and you're ready to go, we think we can make it happen. I'm like, all right, cool. This will be cool, you know. I don't really care too much about, whatever, it's the governor, but I'm like, that's a cool opportunity.
Yeah.
So I'm all excited. I tell my wife, our son, Anthony, he had a fever for like 3 hours that day, which was Tuesday. Okay. Tuesday morning. So I stayed home from work on Tuesday because he, so he can't go to daycare, but they have they have to be 24 hours fever free before they can go back. So once he woke up from his nap on Tuesday, he was fine. Mm-hmm. No fever, no symptoms, nothing. So, and I was going to be filming with the governor on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And so I go upstairs, I'm telling my wife about the call and, hey, it's going to happen, da-da-da-da. Well, she just starts this massive training with work, and she can't, she could have taken the day off and she was willing to, but it really would have screwed her over for this thing. So I was like, and we didn't have any babysitters. I was like, I'm staying home tomorrow. I'm not doing this video. So I had to bail on the governor's video. I know.
Oh, that's rough.
I was just thinking, if I could do a video with the governor and have that on my feed, that would help me book so many other podcast guests or people down the road.
Yeah, for sure.
But that was really the first thing where I was like, the first big thing was all right, this is what it's like to, have children.
Yeah.
You got to sacrifice some stuff,
Yeah. I mean, they definitely come first,
Yeah. I feel bad ever since Anthony came around, I'm home by 4:30. I try, unless I'm
That's awesome though. I mean, that you get to spend that much time with them.
Yeah. I just heard some study or somebody, just not like an official study, some clip, they were saying my generation spends 90% more time with their kids than my parents' generation did.
Oh, no doubt.
It's great, so, but yeah, I mean, everybody gets home around 4:30 from work and daycare, and I try to not do anything between 4:30 and 7:30. Mm-hmm. And then I work from 7:30 or 8 until midnight, and wake up at 6 and do it all over again. But
there you go.
There's so many restaurants I don't go to anymore, you know, that are open for dinner only or whatever the case is, because it's just and I try not to do anything on weekends if I can help it. But yeah, it's amazing how much that changes things. Having a family,
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So being at the market, can you envision, you signed the new lease, can you envision yourself having Firecracker outside of the market one day?
Ooh, I try to, and then I just think, nope.
Yeah.
It's just, I got it too good.
Yeah.
With moving locations, and it's hard enough to find kitchen staff to work, and then thinking about having to staff both the kitchen and a dining room. Mm-hmm. It just sends me right back to being happy where I am.
Yeah, for sure.
It's the climate out there is just crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And rent and finding space and everything that Dreamer's, going through with her space.
I mean, I'm so glad that she's finally got the permits and is on her way and finally gets to move forward. I'm super excited for her to open. I miss her food.
Yeah, for sure.
Desperately.
Yeah.
And I miss her. I miss seeing her every day.
Yeah.
She was definitely such a fun energy to have in the market, and we've kind of been through thick and thin together. But I'm super excited for her to open.
Yeah, I thought about that back when I did those interviews with you and Nyalk and it's Ewing, correct? That owns and then
Cake Bar.
And then Dreamer. And I was just thinking to myself, like, you go into the Salt City market, where else are you ever going to have as great of a spot like that, where you have so much behind you in terms of like the brand awareness for the market, the marketing that they're putting behind it, the space in general. It's so attractive and clean and safe. And, I mean, it's tough to go from that to really anything else.
Yeah. I mean, kudos to Ewing. She has done it. She opened up her second location, which has kind of become her main location. Mm-hmm. And now the Salt City Market is her satellite location. And have you been to the new Cake Bar?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's gorgeous in there. And I love her vision, and I love what she did with the space and how she operates, and all of her goods there are just so delicious. All her drinks are delicious, and every time I go in there, there's something new on the menu, and so it can be done, and she has answered all the challenges of kitchen staff and wait staff, and she figured it out, and she's doing great, and I love it. I love that for her.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have the energy to do it. She's a lot younger than I am. So, I'm kind of like, I'm happy in my little,
for sure,
my little stall. Like, I'm happy with I guess what chef doesn't want more than 6 burners, but I'm happy with my 6 burners.
Right.
And what we can pump out of that kitchen. Our menu has probably almost doubled.
Wow.
Since we opened, we figured out how to use that space a little bit more efficiently. And right now we're kind of trying to focus on catering a little bit more and grow our catering business. Just trying to figure out different ways to bring in more business without necessarily spending too much more money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How are the events like Taste of Syracuse and stuff for you?
We've done Taste of Syracuse for 2 years now, and we love it, and we love the exposure we get, and that's basically why we do it.
Yeah.
We pretty much just break even.
Okay. Yeah.
Between, renting everything and staff wise, and because we still are open at Salt City during the same time.
Which is smart.
But yes, but we have been running our color changing limeade, which is a great crowd pleaser.
Yeah.
It's interactive. It definitely brings people in. They're like, oh, I've been wanting to try this. Oh, I had this last year.
Yeah.
And, they love seeing the color change, and it's delicious, and it's, it's summer, and it's cold and sweet, and we've tried to add a couple more things to the menu, food related, so that we get some more dollars in that way. And so the second year went better than the first.
That's cool.
And we're looking forward to going back again.
Yeah.
And then it's nice to just bring awareness to Firecracker. People still don't think of us and realize that we're around. Like you see those posts on where Syracuse eats and stuff, and like, oh, what's the best Thai restaurant? Like, nobody ever says Firecracker. Like, people just don't know about us, But it's nice to get out there and look people in the eye and be like, we're right down the street. Like, come see us. There's free parking downtown. That's definitely a plus for a lot of people. When people ask, like, why don't you go downtown? Oh, I can never find parking. And, but we have a free parking lot.
Yeah, that's nice.
Come on down.
It was cool to see you at Taste of Syracuse the past 2 years, and it's smart to stay. There's so many restaurants that close when they're at a festival, but but it's hard to really make that a financial benefit if you close down, so you lose out on all those sales, and then you're at the festival because it's just kind of one hand wash. You lose money from one just to make it up down at the festival.
We kind of just, everybody just spread yourself as thin as you can, and we're just going to get it done. It's 2 days. We're all going to make it, I promise.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, without a doubt, everybody steps up.
Yeah.
You know, every person on the team was just like, okay, what can I do? Where do you need me to be? How many hours do you need me to work? Like, it's just all hands on deck. Yeah. Everybody's on board. My dad is like VIP, like MVP, number one guy. Like he helps me set up and, do everything.
That's cool.
So it really, it's because of him that it happens.
Yeah. So what was it like, growing up with your mom and your dad cooking and food at home? Was it a lot of like home cooked meals? Would you all go out to eat a lot?
It was almost all home cooked meals.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, mostly Thai food, very like simple home cooking Thai food, usually obviously rice.
Yeah.
Usually maybe a curry dish, a stir-fried vegetable dish, and maybe like a soup, like something not necessarily spicy.
Yeah.
A lot of stir fries and stuff.
Yeah.
Noodles on the weekend, noodle soups, things like that. But all pretty much made from scratch. My mom would make not necessarily like stock, but she would make like broths and stuff, and for the noodle soups from scratch. And
that's cool. Same
thing. My dad would make stews and curries, and his big thing, his claim to fame is beef noodle soup.
Okay.
So his Thai beef noodle soup, he would always like spend all day making it, and it was so good. And we'd be eating it. And his claim to fame was, nowhere else in Syracuse can you get this bowl of beef noodle soup. Like it was his signature dish. And so once in a while I'll run it at the market. That's but cool. It's intense. Like we use short rib and we stew it until it's tender and with like 5 spice and veggies and everything to make the broth super yummy. But
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were there a lot of like other Thai families and like in Syracuse that you all were tight with, where it was like, I guess a better way of asking this question is, were there other, when it comes to like, I mean, maybe not your dad's beef noodle soup, but like other Thai dishes, were there other families where it was like those recipes were in the same, like in the same recipe was in, or the same dish was in a different family, but like the recipes were a little different?
Yeah. I mean, so my parents came over with their best friends from Thailand in 1972. And their best friends, I call my aunt and uncle. Okay. But they owned Bangkok Thai in Liverpool for a number of years, and then they sold it. And then they have family too, and between the 3 families, there were 8 of us girls.
Wow.
Who all grew up kind of as cousins.
Okay.
And so I remember growing up with them, and each family would kind of have like their own signature dishes that they were known for. Like my aunt, her green curry was always so delicious. And then my my other aunt, they actually owned the first Thai restaurant in Syracuse.
Oh, really?
Like way back in the day. It was called M&M.
Okay.
And it was on East Fayette, like right around where Chengdu was, or if not in the same location. But yeah,
that's wild.
And so growing up, I was surrounded by all this really yummy, authentic Thai food.
Yeah.
And it definitely shaped, how I cook.
There, what Thai restaurants are there in Syracuse now? There's
so many.
There's you.
There's Appetizing. There's Thai Love New York. Yeah. There's, I forget what the Appetizing in Liverpool changed its name to.
Yeah.
There's Bangkok is still there under a different ownership.
Okay.
There's Basil Thai in Phoenix.
That's right. I forgot that one's up there.
And then I don't know if that Thai restaurant in Casanova is still there or not. But I think it was someone related to Erewhon.
Okay.
And and Lemongrass, obviously.
Yeah. I've never been there.
Really?
I never got a chance to. I was always like, especially when I first started Eat Local New York, I was interested in just like going really just for the picture of the desserts. Mm-hmm. And then when like everything started to go down with Blue Tusk closing and all that nonsense, and I was working for the real estate broker at the time, I made this really stupid mistake. It was when Max announced he was going to Citronelle, moving Lemongrass, and the Post Standard was, writing an article on it and called the real estate broker who was my client, and the real estate broker just hated Don at the paper. And so he called me, I don't want to give a quote. Will you call and give a quote for me? Just tell him to say this. I was like, yeah, sure. So I made the mistake of calling Don and being like, hey, I'm doing the marketing, and this is the quote. The quote is, we're not really too concerned. The national chain steakhouse said they're interested in the space. Anyways, no big deal. And Don was like, can I quote you on that? I was like, yeah, of course. And I should have said, don't use my name. Because then it shows up in the paper. Anthony of Eat Local New York says, we're not worried. A national chain's coming into the space.
Oh, my goodness.
So from that, I was like, oh, shit, I don't know if I should go into Lemongrass.
I mean, I don't think,
check it out. Yeah.
I don't think that
that
is anything like too bad or,
it's not like
I don't see that as a negative.
You're right. I didn't take it. That's good. I didn't take out a billboard that said Lemongrass sucks.
Right.
Yeah. But I do need to check it out. I mean, talking about a staple. I still tell people when I'm talking to someone about the crazy history of food and restaurants in Syracuse, I often bring up, and correct me if I'm wrong, but your first kitchen job was at Bistro. And
it was at Lemongrass, then Bistro, and then back to pastries at Lemongrass. Yeah.
And when you first started there, weren't you working alongside Eamon and Jared?
When I was at the Bistro, yeah. Yep. My first day at Lemongrass, Lemongrass was one side of the kitchen and Bistro was on the other side of the kitchen. And one exit went out into the Lemongrass dining room and the other exit went out to the Bistro dining room. And so Eamon was, had his crew over there and I'm over here chopping, I don't know, picking basil or whatever for Lemongrass. And he comes over, he goes, oh, what are you, like 18, 19? I'm like, 26 or whatever it was. I was like, I graduated from ESF or whatever. And I just remember liking the way they work together. And I was like, I remember always watching them, I'd be like on the other side of the kitchen, but just like staring at them and like marveling in what was going on. And the first parents' weekend, I got my ass kicked for the first time ever. Like seriously, like cooking pad thai, 4 burners going, tears rolling down my face, like bawling, just drowning in tickets. I'm like, what did I get myself into? I'm not cut out for this. And I just remember like crouching behind the cooler, trying to like collect myself afterwards. And Eamon came over to me. He said, good job, you did it. And that was like all it took. And it's like, the bug bit me.
Yeah.
And I never looked back. But yeah, so I mean, that was the start of a very long, very fulfilling, amazing working relationship with Eamon.
That's cool.
I miss him every day.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. What an amazing person to like learn from and work side by side with and really just absorb everything. I mean, not just culinarily wise, but just human wise. Like, he's an amazing human being. Yeah.
I usually if I run into Eamon, or if I'm talking to him with somebody who has no idea who he is in Syracuse, I'm like, if there's a Mount Rushmore of like chefs in Syracuse, Eamon's probably one of the heads.
No doubt.
No
doubt.
Yeah. So
there are so many restaurants that he has influenced or touched or started, or, has a connection to one of the chefs, or just anything. It's amazing. His reach is very widespread.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah, you said it all. Thank you so much for taking time to come down here.
My pleasure. It's always fun talking food with you.
Yeah. Likewise. So anybody who's listening, go down to the Salt City Market, Firecracker Thai Kitchen, and go check out some great Thai food and some of Sally's dishes.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.